YouTube, Joe Walker here at Def Digits Guitar Lessons, and I'm going live for a lesson for my student Wesley right now. And Wesley has just learned the natural minor scale. He's been working on jazz and a lot of different tunes, and he knows the major scale inside and out all over the fretboard. And I just showed him, here's the minor scale. Guess what? It's the same notes as the major scale. That part's easy enough for him. But learning how to manipulate the notes in a major scale to get the same root minor is another task altogether. So that's what he's working on right now. And that we can see right up here on the top two scales. If your major scale is the notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. If you know your major scale and you know the notes inside that scale, then you can manipulate those notes to get other scales as long as you have the definition of these other scales. So the minor scale, also known as the natural minor scale, is going 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. That's the formula for the natural minor scale. And then we repeat it again if we've got room to do it in whatever position you're playing in. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3. So you can get an entire position using all 4 fingers across all 6 strings going. As long as you start and end it on a root like that, then you can get that sound in your ear. Otherwise, if you finish it on the old major scale root, then that will take your ear somewhere else, and that you'll be hearing that as it's now E flat major instead of C minor that I was playing. So I'm going to keep C as the root here at the 8th fret on the low E string for this whole video. So we can use this as our little guinea pig to study how we flow through each of these 3 different minor scales. And then your task will be to put it in different keys and to put it into different positions on the fretboard. So not just C here, but also C over here and C here and C up here and all the different places you can play in the same key but with different shapes. So we've got that minor scale. That's what we're starting with. These 2 scales are new to Wesley, so I'm going to take some extra time to explain these. Harmonic minor is very slightly different from minor. The formula is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7. Natural 7 instead of the flat 7. So that 7 is going to be the same place it was in the major scale. And that's going to give it a different sound. Now it's going to go 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7, 1. So I would suggest first, if you don't know the natural minor scale shape, try to get that under your fingers. If you know your major scale shapes, it's going to be just one of those, but try to think of it as this being the root. Next, in order to incorporate this new one, the harmonic minor, try to build a complete scale shape in your mind, going up and down through that. Make sure you know right where the 7 is. You can count out loud like I did. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. And you're about to play the flat 7 because you know natural minor. But here you know it has to be raised. So we get natural 7. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6. All the rest is just like the regular minor scale. Then here, your flat 7 would be right there with your pinky. We can play it up a fret. That's kind of gnarly. Whenever you get that gnarly stretch on one string, think about whether that note would be easier played on a different string. It's right there on the 7th fret on the high E string. So when I go 5, flat 6, I grab 7 up here on the high E string. 7th fret, 8th to get 7, 1, 2, flat 3 up there. So I'm going to walk you through my fingerings that I use for this whole thing. I go 1, I'm going to dictate my finger numbers right now, narrate my finger numbers. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. That's all like natural minor. Then I go 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. That 4th finger down here, when I went 2, 4, it's crowded here, but it allows me to make that transition to the next string. So I go 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3. That's not the same as I did from natural minor. Natural minor, you would have played those two notes as 1, 2. I go 2, 3 because I know I'm about to get the 7th note up here on the high E string. So 2, 3, 1, 1, 3, 4. And then going back down, it's the same thing. And then you can also get the 7 down below the lowest root. Once you start playing patterns through that, all the fingering bets are off. If you're trying to do something like I just messed that up, but like all my fingers are all over the place if I'm trying to play some melodic pattern through that shape. So don't assign a certain finger for a certain note and never leave it. If you're playing straight up and down through the scale, that's a good thing to have quickly under your fingers, so it's useful to assign your fingers just for the sake of going straight up and down. But as soon as you play other things, just let the rules go. Next, let's look at melodic minor. That formula is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's almost the major scale. If we look at how it changed from harmonic minor, we took that flat 6 and moved it up to a natural 6. So now we're almost back to where we started back on the major scale. The only thing that's different is that flat 3. So now if we play through it, we're going to get 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5. Now that flat 6 would have been here under your pinky. You could take that up a fret and reach for it, but that should set off a little alarm bell saying maybe it'd be easier to find that on the next string. So that note up there is A, and you can find A right here on the 7th fret of the D string. So let me come back to the start and walk through that so you can hear the effect of that. 6. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, flat 3. My fingering for this is almost identical to the harmonic minor. Couple differences just to accommodate for that natural 6. Finger 1, 3, 4, 1, 4. I usually do there. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 1, 3, 4. So those moments where you got 7, 1, 2, flat 3. Sometimes that will appear all 4 notes on one string. I'll usually double up on my first finger on the lower 2 notes, 7 and 1, and then I've got finger 3 and 4 for the upper notes. Like that. Let's see, next we need to look at how to apply these. So when you have a minor 2-5-1 progression, if it's in C minor, then our 1 chord is not going to be a minor 7. Like that. That chord is leading to this and then this, or it's leading somewhere else. A minor 7 chord does not feel like it's at rest. So if we back up and we do the 2 chord, it would be D half diminished, D minor 7 flat 5. To the 5 chord is G7. Here I've got a flat 9 on top. To the 1 chord, if I land on 1 minor 7, C minor 7, that doesn't sound like it's finished. It sounds like it's going on to the next chord in the sequence. And wherever it'll go from there, it doesn't sound like home, like it should. It doesn't sound like 1. It sounds like we've changed keys to something else. So the 2 chord, D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 flat 9 to the 1 chord should be C minor 6 is one option. That sounds like a resting point. We could end the song right there. It sounds like the sync where everything has gone down to that one spot. It's not like that gravitational pull. It all just ends right there. A black hole. So that minor 6, I think Wesley knows this one, so I won't explain it. The other option would be a minor major 7, which Wesley does not know. So D half diminished, G7 flat 9. Well, let's do sharp 9 would also be appropriate here. And then we get C minor major 7. Here I'm doing the low root C, and then I've got the flat 3 on the G string, the 5 on the B string, and the 7, the natural 7 on top, on the high E string, the 7th fret with my first finger. So that was really creepy sounding, but sounds like it's finished on that minor chord. So your minor chord should have not a minor 7. If you're doing that one minor, it shouldn't be a minor 7. It should be a minor 6 or a minor 6/9 or a minor major 7. Something to avoid that, like the 3 and the flat 7 together. That's what we see here in the natural minor scale, the flat 3 and the flat 7 together. We don't want to land on that when we land on our tonic 1 minor chord. So over these 3 chords, when you do that 2 minor 7 flat 5 chord, you can be thinking, if you're soloing, thinking in terms of the natural minor scale over the 1 chord. So as I'm playing D minor 7 flat 5, as that chord is going by, I will be playing with C natural minor. And that all fits. So I'm going to write that down. This is what you want to do over the 2 chord in green. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe not. Make it really thick. 2. The 2 half diminished. Next, when you go to the 5 chord, we get to that G7 flat 9 or G7 sharp 9 or G7 sharp 5 or whatever the alteration is. It'll probably be some kind of altered chord if it's a minor 2-5-1. Whatever it is, the note that's new that changes us out of this is, in this case, G, B. The B natural is the note that tweaks you out of where we were just playing. So that B natural in this case, relative to our tonic C, that B natural is the 7. So that's where we're going right here. We go to this harmonic minor over the 5 chord. So that's over this sound. I'm playing with C harmonic minor. And that all fits. These are not the only options to use for these chords. These are my default options. 5, dominant chord. Finally, when we get to the 1 chord, the 1 minor 6, there's that natural 6 in that chord. Or the 1 minor major 7, there's that natural 7. Either of those chords, those notes will sound like this is a resting place if you hit those notes when you're soloing. So that will be over the 1 minor chord, a tonic minor. So in order to play over a minor 2-5-1, in order to effectively nail the sound of each chord as it passes by, you'll be starting on minor and then moving to harmonic minor and then moving to melodic minor. And if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, that's so much new stuff that I have to learn that minor scale all over the fretboard, then harmonic minor all over the fretboard, then melodic minor all over the fretboard, and then have command to be able to change those things at will. Think of it more like this. You start with the minor, so you do have to know that. Then you raise the 7. That's it. As long as you know inside that minor scale that right now I'm on the 1, flat 3, the 2, the flat 6, the 5, the flat 7. Now I raise it to the 7. As long as you have the control to be able to do that, then you can make this shift without thinking like, oh, harmonic minor. What's the formula for harmonic minor again? You don't have to do that. So let me use another highlighter to highlight the shift between these notes. So it's this one. As you go from minor to harmonic minor, it's this one. A big ugly blue box around it, but that's the key note when you go there. When you get to the 1 minor, the tonic 1, the only one that changes from harmonic minor is the flat 6 to the natural 6. So you keep that 7 in there, and you're only thinking raise the 6, or raise the flat 6 to a natural 6. So we're going minor, raise the flat 7 to a natural 7, raise the flat 6 to a natural 6. That's all you got to think as you go through it, but you have to keep track of where you are within the 2-5-1. So if I take it really slow here, I just go D half diminished, and I'm playing with C natural minor, And then I go to G7 flat 9, and I'm playing now with C harmonic minor. And then to C minor 6, and I'm doing C melodic minor. So now I'm going to improvise just a little bit over this without a context, without a backing track, because I want to sort of be in control of my head of deciding when I'm going to move to these until I'm comfortable with it. I will narrate out loud what I'm doing as I'm just playing. So doing minor. That was all over the 2 chord, and the 2 chord usually doesn't last that long. So I'm taking my time on this. And now to the 5, I want to land on that 7 at the moment we go to the 5 chord. Instead of like starting from down here and playing through the scale and then finally we hit the 7 up there. I want to land on that new note as we change chords. And when we go to that 1, I want to land on that 6 when we get there. There's that 6. So that kind of takes your ear like, whoa. It's surprising because that note is outside the context of what you were just hearing. And that note is outside the context of what you were just hearing. So it really leads your ear through those 3 chords. So again, here's natural minor. Whoops. And now here's harmonic minor over the 5 chord. Now here's the melodic minor over the 1 chord. Now to natural minor. So for the 5 chord, now the 1 minor. Now to the 2, 5, 1. Two, 5, 1. So I had some mistakes in there, but I was trying to narrate out loud what I was targeting as I was playing through those 3 scales. So it really requires you to gain control over which notes are which inside the scale. It's not just a big shape of a bunch of dots. There's a 1 in there, there's a 2 in there, there's a flat 3 or a 3 in there, all those scale degrees. And in order to manipulate them in this way, then you have to know exactly where they are. That is all I've got for you today. Work on homework for Wesley. Work on going through those 3 scales in that one position that I was just doing. And I think your homework for last time was writing out or discovering all of the different minor scale shapes around the fretboard. So if we're doing C minor, it wouldn't be just here, but also over here and here and all of the different places you can do that, writing it out or playing it out. You can do the same thing with harmonic minor and melodic minor. And if you're going to pursue studying jazz for a while, you should. Those things should definitely eventually happen. Be able to play those all over the fretboard because they are really essential. All right, that's everything for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.